Hey guys, this is Pikmin, and I apparently love Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. So much, in fact, that at the time of this, I have played over 200 hours of this game. Now, to put that into perspective, according to my 3DS, my highest played 3DS game was Kid Icarus Uprising with 152 hours. Yeah. And I'm not going to even bother with the rest of that game, so I'm pretty sure, they don't really tell the time, but jeez. Although, granted, it's not, my second most played game is Fire Awakening, 146 hours, but dude, that's way too much. It's like I've practically played, Monster 3 Ultimate more than I played Kid Icarus Uprising and Mario Tennis Open combined. Or, better yet, freaking all the times I played Fire Awakening and Mario Kart 7 combined. Sheesh. That is insane. And I'm pretty sure I haven't played any Pokemon game past, past freaking 30 hours. So, past 50 hours, I bet. Because apparently I played White 2 on my 3DS for 40 hours. But anyway, the point is, I played this thing a frigging lot. So what I'm going to do with this? Well, look at the title. I'm going to tell you my 5 favorite weapon types out of the 12 available. Kind of like what I did with Kid Icarus Uprising. I can't believe I just made another parallel to that. Huh. Anyway, so let us begin. My top 5 out of 12 possible weapon types of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. As of the time of this video. Here we go. Five spot goes to the sword and shield. Now, the heavy bow gun almost made it to this list. However, I decided to go for the sword and shield because all of these weapons are pretty much how much I use them and how much I'm really good with them. So in that case, the sword and shield goes into the 5 spot. So okay, here's the thing. The sword and shield is meant to be the default weapon. You first start the game with it, although you could change it, change it to something else, like near almost immediately as you get to the the village. But the thing with sword and shield is that they're meant to be the basic thing. The main draw to them is that, first of all, they hit decently fast. They're short, so you don't slow down big time using it. And the real main thing is that you can use your item pouch on the gamepad or the touchscreen, the 3DS, while having them weapons drawn, which is like to use some items on any other weapon type, you have to first sheath the weapon using Y, and then use Y again to use the item. But in the case of sword and shield, there's an while that still applies, you could also go to the touchscreen. If you have the item pouch option on the touchscreen, you can just click that and then choose your item. But of course, like with other weapon types, you have to press Y to sheath your weapon first, then touch the item you want, and then you use it. But for the sword and shield, you can do that latter option while the weapon's still drawn. So that means, like, let's say you're battling a monster, right? And then you're right in the middle of attacking the monster with your sword and shield. But if you have the item pouch on your touchscreen, when you stop for a while, you can actually just tap the item you want and then just take the item, even if your weapon's already drawn. And yet, it's a big deal, believe it or not. So, you might think it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. This is freaking Monster Hunter. It's insane. But, okay, so what I really like about this weapon is that, well, it's realistically sized. Because a lot of the weapons in the game are so freaking huge as it's kind of a wonder how people can actually lift it. Heck, the great sword weapon type is so huge. It's probably about your entire length, entire length. Heck, maybe even taller than that. So it makes even Cloud wonder how do you carry that weapon. So the sword and shield is actually more realistically sized. And with the shield, since you carry a shield, you can hold the R button and you can block. So actually, not exactly a big deal, since blocking in the game is probably unnecessary, if not like obsolete by rolling. So you absolutely don't need to block at all in this game. So that's what I kind of learned it somehow. in that sure you have a shield, but it's practically useless. You're not going to use shield. So that's also to take the sword and shield. It's not that powerful. Well, as a general weapon type, it's not that powerful. However, it does. You did hit pretty fast with it, and you do get a good amount of multiple strikes with it. Although you have to get into the enemy to actually do that, so and with some monsters, it's kind of a big deal. So I like the sword and shield. It's a like, pretty good basic weapon to to practice on. So it's pretty great. The Great Sword. So yeah, what I mentioned about freaking giant swords and makes Cloud wonder how you can carry it. That's actually one of my favorite weapon types. It's such that they're one of the more powerful weapon types. As in, like, if you get one hit, you actually deal a lot of damage. So yeah, I think it's that and the hammer that has like a higher damage output. Like raw damage output. With the Great Sword, mostly because like I figured out how to do a semi-infinite combo, and just using A when the weapon is drawn, pick A and then hold A and B at the same time. So X and A at the same time. My bad. X and A at the same time, and then go for this infinite combo. So you do hit sort of fast, but not fast enough. But and not to hit home with. What's also like about the Great Sword is one of the bigger features is that well, not the features, but a good idea in general is that when you have the weapon sheath, right, hold the R or ZR button to run, and then while you're running, press X to draw your sword, and you get like a quick draw. And that quick draw is the fastest attack the Great Sword can do, and that's saying a lot considering how much raw damage the Great Sword can do. So yeah, that's like the Great Sword. The Great Sword can I guess a good thing you can also block with the Great Sword. I mean, it's a giant sword. Would you want to use it as a mini shield, considering that the sword and shield, it's just the shield and the sword and shield, they're probably like a smaller width than one Great Sword. So you can also block with the Great Sword. However, the catch is that you lose sharpness. And sharpness is a big deal, because otherwise, a lot of monsters, they can only, get hit if you hit them with a certain sharpness. So, there you go. So, yeah, like I said, the Great Sword has good raw damage output, and if you quite know what you're doing, you could actually hit a number of times good enough to do a lot of damage and consistent damage. Again, due to the simple logic you're carrying a sword the size of yourself, you do tend to get slowed big time. So, yeah, it's really hard to carry a giant sword. So, you do slow down considerably when the weapon is drawn. So, the best option to do is, if you're not facing a monster, or if the monster's even very slightly away from you, it's better off to just sheath your weapon using the Y button and just run around and a quick draw again. That's probably like the best thing to do with the Great Sword. So yeah, I heard it with the Great Sword. And also a lot of the Great Swords actually are cool looking. Like for example, I'm trying to get a fin blade on as you can see with the giant fin blade. It looks pretty cool. So I'm trying to get one of those after this video. I have not done it yet, but yeah, it does look pretty cool. So that's what for the Great Sword. Let's continue on with number 3. The dual blades. Okay, now the dual blades actually come a recent addition. If you ask me this question, what's my favorite one of my favorite weapon types of this game? If you ask me that like a few days after I got the game, I will not put dual blades there because at the time I would not exactly use dual blades. But now that I am used to dual blades, considering like some of my most used weapons are of the dual blade category. That actually do get a lot more used to it. From what I've heard about dual blades, they're one of the best weapon types when dealing elemental damage. Since weapons do have elemental properties to them, and some of them you have to get a certain skill to actually unlock the elemental power. But they do have, a lot of them do have elemental powers, and of course the monsters carry weaknesses to some elements, and the more elemental damage you can do, well, you know, their damage output naturally. And dual blades do just that. The dual blades, since they have they're two really small swords, they actually again they do twice damage, but also you hit really freaking fast. You hit a lot and fast. It's like you're trying to be Meta Knight. It's basically you trying to be Meta Knight, and that you hit fast. However, the problem is that it's really hard to move while attacking a lot, since in certain situations you actually do get locked into moving attacking, so it gets really hard with this, since a lot of monsters actually do attack really freaking fast, like you didn't see that coming. So yeah, so it was anything more, but you gotta be careful. But once you know how to be careful and know how to get in with it, then you're good. And it's like if you hold the run button and then it's the X, you actually do get a lunge. It's kind of like you know, the same button combination as the Great Sword Quick Draw. You got actual quick draw with the dual blades. It's like you lunge forward and then you do 2 hits. That actually it's pretty helpful. So that's kind of like the dual blades. So yeah, I do have a lot of dual blades. Recently, however, actually made a set which I call Bugman. It's pretty much what if Batman was like an insectoid instead of a bat, kind of like Spider-Man, only what if Spider-Man was Batman. So, and his little weapon of choice is the insecticides. Of course, at the time of this recording, I don't have the insecticides. I have the weapon, the unupgraded one version, the Insecta Trippers, I think it's called. But you know, once I upgrade my the Insecta Trippers, I will get the insecticides. Supposedly there is a you can upgrade insecticides to something more. However, I haven't got to it yet. I'm already looking at it's called the Entomophos, whatever. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. It's too much like pretty much a black, like a black butcher knife, and a little white knife, little knife thing to the side, secondary weapon. This looks pretty cool. So that weapon has a dragon type element to it, in that monsters weak to dragon, and there are quite a few, but a good number of important, monsters. The main boss monsters that are weak to dragon. So this is my anti-dragon set. So it actually it gets the job done, and plus it has the skill called ability called HG earplugs. In that, since most monsters roar, and roars actually they make you stop moving for a few seconds. But with the earplugs, when a monster roars, they're basically sitting ducks. So there you go. Actually, what I like about my Bugman, it's actually one of my main. Actually, it's going to be my main set. So it actually looks pretty cool too. So, and my brother said that it was like a dark night feel, which is why I call it Bugman. So yeah, it looks pretty freaking sweet. Okay, I'm already like almost 13.5 minutes. I gotta go to number 2 fast. The Switch Axe. I freaking love the Switch Axe because first of all, it's a freaking axe. While axes by themselves are not exactly my favorite kinds of weapon types in general. What I like about a Switch Axe, first of all, it's not a sword. And granted, I like swords. However, the Switch Axe, well, it's an axe. It's not what you expect. But speaking of stuff you want to expect, what the Switch Axe does, it literally switches from an axe to a sword. Yeah, you get an axe sword. That is awesome. Forget your freaking gun blades, lightning. You got a freaking Switch Axe. Well, anyway, so yeah, I guess what Switch Axes do is that they have the axe version. It's kind of like the great sword in an aspect, and that's like in the axe mode, you really wait to the meter to use the sword. is full. Because while the axe themselves, they're pretty good damage. So yeah, they're pretty good. They get a good amount of reach. So like I look about the switch axe, like in the axe form, that has good reach. So like since the sword mode tends to not have as much reach, but if you want to get like anti-air up in that grill, you could just go to axe mode and you do your uppercut move. And again, one of the best things about it is that it turns to a sword mode, and the sword carries some sort of element to it, some element or status ailment. Like for example, there's files they call it FPHILS that they call it. That like one may have a power file, which means like in the sword mode it gets more powerful. One does paralysis in sword mode. One does dragon elemental damage in sword mode, in which actually one of my switch axes is my main switch axe. In fact, actually does have in that the sword mode gives dragon elemental damage. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And of course, the weapons themselves, they do have elements like every other weapon. But with the sword mode, the switch axe, they do have some sort of extra properties to them. That's what I like about it. So, and plus, with the switch axe, it does have a pretty high-ish damage output, and yeah, it's so superior to the great sword in that you do a lot of damage, but the switch axe hits much faster. Meaning, in the sword mode, the switch axe hits faster than the great sword, which means they actually a bit more reliable damage. So, and reliable, fast, hard-hitting damage, along with extra properties I just mentioned. Of course, the drawback to this is that you can only use the sword mode for a limited amount of time because the files they do run out, so you have to reload it. So it's either once the meter for the files go out, you can automatically go back to axe mode, which means to make your sitting duck about 1.5 seconds, and then you have to press the R button, I believe. Yeah, the R button to reload the file again. So you use sword mode again. Or of course you can just sheath the weapon and just like hold. I think we use it's R and then XA to automatically do the reload, which actually is pretty helpful. So there you go. As I said, the switch axe, it's a pretty different weapon. It's not a gun. It's not a gun. It's not a sword. It's pretty its own category. That's what I like about it, about the switch axe. It's pretty its own thing. It's it can go from an axe to a sword, and the sword can have several different properties. It has good damage output and all that stuff. That's all I like about the switch axe. Let's go to number 1. The bow. Remember what I said about the switch axe just now? About its own category? The bow, same thing. Because the only other the gunner pouch thing you have is the bow guns. Here's what I mean about the pouches. You can have two different styles. The Blade Master and the Gunner, which they're both self-explanatory. The Gunners are the light bow gun, the heavy bow gun, the bow, and everything else is Sword Master. And Blade Master, my bad. Blade Master does melee damage, of course, and Gunners, you can kind of tell by their name. Both of them can hold different inventory slots. So if you have, let's say if you have, let's say a lance. Let's say if your main weapon's a lance, right? And then you switch into something like a light bow gun, you get to a different inventory space. So, and of course you can put items in one or the other. So it's cool. But I'm just saying. But anyway, with the bow. I've heard and read that the bow is actually pretty difficult to use. This is why I main the bow. I main the bow specifically because if I'm gonna have a difficult time, mastering the bow, might as well master it right away. So yeah, so right off the bat, my bow is my most reliable weapon. So yeah, the bow's the most reliable weapon. It of course, being a bow, it hits a far distance, and depending on what properties the bow has. I can hit 5 times, like I hit 5 arrows at once. I'm no kidding, like 5 arrows at once, or you know, like a straight line, or hit 5 arrows at once spread out, or just, you know, have arrows just pierce through the enemy doing multiple hits, depending on the size of the monster. And that sort of thing. And also, the main thing with the bows is that while ammo is infinite, and trust me, the arrows look like sorry, the arrows look like freaking javelins for how big they are. I'm not kidding. The bow is kind of huge. The arrows are like freaking javelins. You can so that's saying a lot. You can load different coatings to it. And then the coatings give different properties, like size properties. Like I mentioned with the switch axe, some gets more power, some gets paralysis, you know, that sort of thing. I believe the ones are, if it's from the top of my head, it is okay. Let me look that up, because that guy look it up, because I won't remember. It is the power, the poison, the paralysis, sleep. Close range, I'll explain a bit. Paint, exhaust, and slime. The power is self-explanatory. It gives your shots more power. Poison, paralysis, and sleep, self-explanatory. Does well, actually, it's involved with the melee attack of the bow, and yes, as a melee attack. If you press the A button, you'll just you know, swing your freaking javelin, like javelin-sized arrow into things, and well. There you go, that's your melee attack. The close range increases the sharpness of it, since the arrows don't have set sharpness, so if you, with close range one, and then just like slice through, you might be able to cut tails. Anyway, the paint, what paint does in this game is that it tracks where your enemy is. Exhaust, well, exhaust the enemy and, make a retreat and stuff like that. And slime is explosives. Okay, so yeah, look at different types of coatings. Not every bow can equip every coating. Heck, I think one bow can use every single coating. And I was actually trying to get that, by the way. I'm trying to get that one bow that can use everything. I think the maximum one can get without using extra skills to equip more different coatings is 5. So like a lot of bows carry don't carry 3, sometimes 4. But I think paint. I think it's just paint is the default. So I think paint and close range are the I think paint and close range are they're the default. Yeah, they're no, not paint and close range. It's paint. It's just paint that's the default, because all bows need to use paint. It's depending on like what other things that the bow can do. So that's such what the bow does. I showed you like different kinds of shots. The bow, once you hold I think it's the X button. Hold the X button. You know, of course, like a regular bow, you aim. Or like you charge up your shot. Then after you let go, you hit the arrow. Okay, of course, like what do you expect of a bow, really? But yeah, and different charges. If you charge up long enough, you can actually do a special move, and then you shoot your arrow upward, and then depending on the bow, you get certain effects like a rain of arrows, or the arrow comes down and explodes, and I think something I forgot what it was. But it's a great thing. It's a lot of things the bow can do. So I really love the bow. It's really definitely my favorite weapon type, my main weapon type, in fact. And the fact that I don't know, I just like the designs of a lot of the bows. The bow I'm trying to get right now is the Hunter's Proud Bow. It does get a defense boost of all things. So, well, although there are a lot of weapons that do give you a better defense boost, but nonetheless. But it I actually kind of like it because it's pretty the final upgrade of the basic bow. It actually does pretty decent damage output. So I think actually I'm trying to get that bow. So there we go. So, and also a lot of the bow designs are actually pretty cool. I actually have more bows on my my arsenal than I do with anything else. because I think I have like I think five dual blades. I think 5 great sword. But with the bow, I don't remember how much I have. But anyway, so yeah, I just really love the bow. I know Niguno would say that he loves the bow too because he actually loves bows and stuff. But for me, between all the swords that are in the game and the bow, I would like to use the bow because I gotta use the bow. So if I'm not gonna help out with monster hunting, hence the name of the title, I might as well go with long range. So yeah, that's it for me. That's what I like about Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. So yeah, I'll just see you guys later for another toss episode. I have plenty of ideas I'm planning to do. So hope you would enjoy them. So see you guys later.